All right, so this topic is going to be, should black people get reparations? Floor is open.
I'm gonna go last.
I'm gonna chop mine up or whatever. My first, I'm just gonna say yes, and then later on I'll probably break it down. But I'm gonna say
you
yes.
should just go ahead and do it now.
Go ahead.
Let Phil formulate.
okay.
Let Phil formulate.
Okay.
He just got on. Let him formulate his ideas on this. Okay.
Oh, okay. So initially, back in the day, I probably would have said no, but now I say yes because they have given reparations to other people.
Oscar
Oh, this
froze.
nigga right here. these niggas with these 4K cameras.
Nah, he good. He back.
Okay. I'm like, man, how I freeze and I can see everybody moving and talk. They've given reparations other times, like say for the Holocaust, they've given reparations. They're giving it to the Japanese people. They're giving it to like the Tuskegee Airmen and stuff like that or whatever. So I don't see why one of the biggest group of people that y'all oppressed for the longest time, you couldn't give reparations to or whatever. So I'm gonna keep it short for now, but they've done, I mean, even the Native Americans, they're giving it to us. So it's like, why not give it to the descendants of slaves or whatever? It just don't make sense for them not to do it. So, but go ahead, somebody.
You want me to go, Phil, or you still want to formulate?
No, you can definitely go, but I would like also to throw that question in there.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they? I think that was important. Why wouldn't they give black people?
Well, let me
go ahead, Dave.
Let me say this because we're gonna give Phil the floor on this one because I think Phil, this is more of a subject matter. It means more probably to y'all except me. I'm probably the least this subject matter means more to me. So I'm gonna just say it. I don't think they should give black people reparations because of slavery, but I am a supporter for help like helping somebody after some damage has been done, helping a certain group of people or certain subjects, and certain individual. Kind of like if you falsely imprison a person who was actually innocent the whole time for like 20 years. Yes, I do believe you need to give him something after you let him out, for because he was there for that whole time. He took 20 years of his life. So yeah, give him $5 million or something like that. But black, as far as slavery, the descendants of slaveries, I don't think we should give the descendants of slaves nothing. The slaves, obviously, if the slaves was here, they wouldn't be here. Of course, we wouldn't be here if they was here. But the descendants, I don't think so. I think that's just another wave, certain things happen to humans in waves throughout the history of the earth or whatever, even with not just natural events, but just people treating people all fucked up, kind of like the Roman Empire versus Genghis Khan when he was ruling half the world, whatever. It just happens like that. People, Hitler tried to do some shit. Everything come in waves. So you just roll with the punches and do the best you can. So I don't think that the descendants of slaves should get reparations. But yeah, that's my point.
All right. Well, I absolutely think that black people should get reparations, and really only because there's precedence for it. Like Oscar was saying, you have the survivors of the Holocaust that got reparations. Guess what? Like, I hope I'm probably gonna get canceled before I even get started for this one. But
can't talk about them people.
We didn't do the Holocaust. Why did we pay them reparations? But we did. Native Americans are getting reparations. The Japanese that were in internment camps are getting reparations.
Hey, say hey to my daughter. Phil, hey, look, this is my daughter. She big now. Say hey.
Hey, is that
she's
Tiana,
like, I'm done.
That's Savannah. She's kind of shy.
What's
say
up?
Hey. Hey. She just woke up. Anyway, my bad.
No, you good. And especially this was like the tide, the straw that broke the camel's back for me is the United States government did pay reparations for slavery. They did. But guess who they paid it to?
To the slave owners.
To the slave owners.
So the slave owners.
That was bad. Yeah.
So like it just don't make no sense that we have it. And if you can't make right what the United States government allowed to be wrong, through the individuals that they wronged, then you do pay their descendants, because all of us were affected by that, and we have been affected by it even 100 years after slavery had ended. So
let me jump in on that real quick. What Shaw said too, because that is a funny thing. Like I don't know if y'all remember 40 Acres and a Mule. That was supposed to be for the freed slaves.
mm-hmm.
I forgot which president, Abraham Lincoln or some. Don't get me mixed up with the presidents, but somebody got killed. Whoever came in after that killed that order and changed the order to, instead of giving the slaves 40 acres and a mule, the slave owners got all that land and everything that the slaves were supposed to get. And so they actually had set it up for them to get reparations, killed it, and gave it to the slave owners. So if that ain't a slap in the face, you know.
It's been a lot of that going on too, not just that.
I'll tell you, and I agree. I agree with. I don't agree with you, Dave. I'll say that.
Yes, it might be a lot of that.
And I'll tell you why. Just
it might be a lot of that.
Yeah, but just to go off of what you said, those instances that you mentioned in history, just like the instances that Rashad and Oscar acknowledged, people have been paid for the same thing. There are precedents for those atrocities to man, if you would. So yeah, that might be something that happens in history, but as man has some sort of moral, or tries to have some type of moral reckoning, that's one of the ways that they try to make right by their transgressions against other men. For whatever reason, they blatantly done everything but that, knowing that we are, as Rashad said, still alluded to. And let me ask y'all, do y'all want me to refer to you by your screen names, or real names cool?
My real name. I'm cool.
I'm good with real name,
yeah.
I mean,
so,
I advertise. I'm a real estate agent. If y'all want to look up my
Daves
name, I'll sell you a house in Texas somewhere.
Yeah.
So Rashad, Oscar, Dave, Phil here. I initially leaned towards Oscar's response, where at first I didn't believe they should. I don't think it's time for that, or didn't think it was time for that, because we didn't have any infrastructure set up, and so that money would basically go right back where it came from within a matter of probably months, a majority of it anyway. So if it was the smartest thing they could do was give it to us now and get it right back, much like that land that they promised us in 40 acres and mule legislation or whatever. But yeah, I think that at this point in time, there's enough of us so-called woke and prosperity-minded individuals who, in doing something like that, because we're talking about basically trillions of dollars being distributed amongst those people, or our people, and that having a significant impact on the economy, as it stands. And when you look at it, I look at there's one study that was done a couple years ago by the banks that said that the economic racism that America has exhibited just over the last 10 years was enough to take us out of not completely take us out of the deficit, but it amounted to a little more than $1 trillion. So that is to say that America would rather eat, I should say, the United States would rather eat itself economically, starve its people economically, and to do right economically by those that they've wronged, which is very interesting. And when we have people who still don't believe that this is a fundamentally racist country, when not only our practices and legislation and the large demographic that came out and with Trump's election that kind of demonstrated, hey, those values are here to stay, and in fact being passed down, just guised in different ways. So not to go too far off the subject, but if there was, and this might get into why they don't, with it being a global economy now, and us being able to recognize markets that they at one point wouldn't invest in unless they were capitalizing off of or even raping, pretty much, for lack of a better word, such as America, such as South America. You talk about Venezuela with the largest deposits of gas this hemisphere, or oil, I should say, this hemisphere. It makes sense that they wouldn't give us as a people that amount of money, because we would look towards those communities and build the infrastructure not only there but here. We're talking about building our own hospitals, building our own schools, from the people that have the mind, the insight, and the network to suggest, hey, we're not going to get what we've wanted from them. Let's build it ourselves. I think that's their greatest fear. Okay, well, if that happens, where does that leave us? We don't have a consumer class, or we don't have as large of a consumer class as we would have, because now they're providing their own opportunities.
Mm.
So yeah, overall, I think the whole reparations thing, while a great deal of us would probably give it back because we're gonna go get our Maybachs and all that stuff, but I would go on to say that if there was some committee that said, okay, we're going to formulate this reparations committee, and I think there is one, and we're going to apply pressure so that we do get these, and ultimately, okay, government reconciles and does promises that, I still think that it should be leveraged to the extent that you get it upon completing certain um, standards, or there being certain standards in place. Um, it would apply completely to descendants of the enslaved, so no new immigrants like we have a large influx of now that can just say, "Hey, I'm black, can I get it?"
Right,
No.
right, right.
So I think what Tariq Nasheed coins as foundational Black Americans would be the term used to describe those, and people who identify as Black. Um, I would say going back a few generations, which I think kind of complicates that as a racial issue, because much like the Native American thing and the Dawes role, um, there are people who claim to be Native American or Indian and really don't identify as such, and really don't, but have all the benefits, but don't identify as such.
Right, right.
Ill-gotten blood or whatever. But I think if there's a smart way to do it, yeah, of course. And I think that might be just the jump start we need in establishing a certain level of the equity, as opposed to this false equivalency of equality, if you would.
Right.
Mm.
Well said.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do y'all?
What do
I got a
y'all-
quick question.
Go ahead.
Do y'all think it should be a monetary handout? Because I
Nope.
don't personally think it should
I
be
think
money.
it should
like
just be
You don't
No,
even
hold
think
up,
we should get it, Dave.
no. No, if let's say if it happened, I still have an opinion on that.
Okay.
So I don't think it should be a cash out. I think it should be kind of like how welfare, they give you food stamps, but not food stamps. It's they give you like some kind of paperwork or documentation say you get this benefit, and you can get this benefit for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? So like if they was giving you land, this documentation say this is your land and you still got to pay taxes on it,
Right.
you know, or something like that.
I looked at it kind of like, depending on, since it's for the descendants, I would say like tuition for school for 4 years, you don't have to pay. Business loans or business grants, you don't have to pay it back. Like say you need to start a new business or something, they give you, I'm just using an arbitrary number, $50,000 for this. To buy a new home, they'll just give you whatever, but it has to be used specifically for what they're giving it to you. They can't not. I don't think it would be beneficial if they just came and gave you the money in your hand, because it'd end up like that Dave Chappelle
I'm rich.
It
episode.
would.
Yep.
Maybe
That boy
cash.
Twan got
Tron.
hit that
Hey,
Yeah.
it
got
was
that lucky
Tron,
dice
yeah.
hand. Tron,
So-
yeah.
So I've actually had multiple conversations about this, and there's a lot of pushback from especially white America because they feel is like, well, I didn't own any slaves. Why should I have to pay? You know, and I told them, you know, I've like, hey, that's not how government works at any level. Like you're not
Right.
personally paying a black person. Like it's coming out of the tax dollars, and I mean,
Which means they still are.
no,
Shad. We all contribute to the
you're
tax
you're
dollars.
contributing, but you're not paying for it, right? So,
but they still have a word if they're contributing.
but
you get it?
That's not how government works. You know what I mean?
So if all four of us built a house and we used our own bricks,
let me finish.
I would say, hey, I want to use my bricks a certain way, just like Oscar would want to use his bricks a certain way.
But that's your
so
house.
They should
that's
have
not
a
the American government. That's not how we have elected representatives that decide how our money gets spent.
Yes, but it's still because of us.
Well, I understand that, but you're not. What I'm saying is you're not paying them directly. You have an elected representative that they sit in this place called Washington D.C. and they vote on bills and they vote on how those bills get funded. Like, and we all put in once a year towards that funding. But
hold on, so come here, hurry up. She wanted to look and see who Phil was. Come here.
They got all these cameos going on in the background.
This is my youngest Phil. Get over here behind me. Oh, there you go.
We can't
see. She's my youngest.
The light is so dark.
I kind of see her.
Yeah. She's shy. Anyway, Mike, keep going, Sean. But I disagree though, but keep going.
Cracking. But I don't think that we should. I don't think we can sell a monetary payout. I don't for that reason because there's going to be so much pushback because there are people that are like I don't agree with it and that's my money, so boom. But I think there are programs like Oscar said that we can do that that'll be easier to sell. And I think maybe it's because I have a little bias, but one of the best ways to pass on generational wealth, Dave.
I don't like that either. Passing on generational wealth.
Dave, I was gonna say we can hear your wife.
Background. Yeah.
We
can hear.
Y'all being too loud. My bad, y'all.
You good?
Shh, keep it down. Okay.
So
my bad, y'all.
No, I'm saying one of the ways that people have passed on generational wealth was home ownership and owning land and stuff like that. And it's strange when you get around people that, you know, they're like, oh, my parents just passed away or my grandma just passed away. And you're like, oh, I feel bad for you. And they're like, yeah, but it was their time. You know, they left me like $700,000. And I'm like, what? Like, that's just something that I don't hear in the black community like at all. And that has been going on for generations that we haven't been able to partake in, not only because of slavery, because of Jim Crow and us not being able to buy a home and not being able to pass on that generational wealth that's been accrued through home ownership and land ownership. And that's why I think I would propose maybe some type of government loan backing program, like how VA loans are. Like you can go out and get a VA loan. Or like the Homestead Act that does tax deductions. I say maybe the generation before us, like our parents, be completely tax exempt for home houses, and then like our generation afterwards have a deduction. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then have that the ability to go out and get a home loan where you don't have to come up with like 20% down.
Wait, let me ask you a question. You mean, so let's say your children should get a reduction because you got a reduction, like we tax exempt in certain aspects like homeowner, land, whatever.
No. Just a deduction. Deduction, not exemption. So like our parents, you know, like Miss Harding and my mom, like they would be exempt. You know what I mean? Because they're closer to the actual
the lineage of the slave.
Yeah, I mean they grew up during Jim Crow, so
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think that senior citizens should just be exempt from a lot of things anyway when it comes to finance. You know, they about to kick the bucket anyway. It's like that could be a weight off their shoulders.
Yeah,
I mean they do have exemptions, but sticking to the whole slave thing or whatever, I agree with what Rashad is saying. Like I look at like programs like that, get houses. Like say if depending on how far down the lineage it is, you're the like say us or whatever, you might get loan forgiveness for school or whatever. Say you took out a bunch of loans to go to school or whatever, but your parents are passed or whatever, but they can still verify that you're a descendant of a slave. Then you don't have to pay, because they trying to do that now anyway with like a lot of the school loans and stuff. So why not give it to the descendant of slaves or whatever? But that, to me, that's a big one though, for as the houses go and stuff like that. If you can give them some type of exemption or something like that, or a deduction or whatever or something like that, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Where's the cutoff though? Where's the cutoff? Meaning how long? Well, hold on, Phil. There has to be a cutoff. So what generation from now in the future can't get shit when it comes to the reparation issue or whatever?
Where's there a cutoff for the Native Americans?
Nope.
It ain't no
So
cutoff.
what you saying? You saying they keep getting the benefits as long as America is America? So you saying black folks, the descendants of black folks, gotta keep
getting benefits? As long as you have
benefits.
a percentage of that blood line or whatever.
Yeah, this is out of control. I disagree.
The Native Americans still, if you can prove that you whatever percentage of a Native American, you still get the benefit.
But
eventually,
they can't
your
expand
bloodline
their land and their
is
benefits, Oscar. They can't expand, like right now. Native American reservations, Native American, anything that is sponsored by the government that they get as a benefit that us regular people don't, they can't keep expanding with it. Like in real world terms, you can't keep expanding your land. Sure, you could buy land, you're a citizen,
right? But you
can't be expanding it because of your Native American background. Because if there's no cutoff, they can just keep expanding until now they own everybody's land. So what is the cutoff with helping out the descendant?
Yeah,
okay. Hold up. Let's say, for example, you help out all the black people right now. You give them an acre and a mule, or we'll just say in terms of benefits, like they get free property. We'll just say that they get a free acre. Then they have children. Their children don't want their parents' land. They want their own land because they're still descendants of.
I don't think you're understanding what we're saying, Dave.
Yeah.
When do you stop giving them the help? I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying. You can't just keep giving generation after generation help because of their ancestors.
But we do.
That's what they're doing. We're saying that's what they're doing already. So we should get the same treatment.
They're not doing that with Native Americans.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Still doing that with they're still doing that with Israelites or Jews.
Apparently y'all don't know what apparently you don't know what expansion means. If you keep giving people, what's the percentage right now? I think I went over it before. It's 26% African Americans in the US. 26%. That number gonna grow because minorities tend to have more children. So there will be more descendants of slavery, which means you have to pay out more land, all these benefits.
I think your numbers on. I think it's like 14, but
okay, we'll just say 14.
Well, go ahead.
You can't just keep it, but it's expanded. So you can't. And land, is finite. You keep once you buy, somebody own it.
Dave,
there's no more. There's less land now.
We're not arguing to give away land.
I'm making a point about benefits. But you can't keep giving benefits.
You can't argue our points and then change our points.
No, it's still benefits. Whatever the benefits you're talking about, you just can't keep giving it.
But we do from Native Americans.
No, we don't. Just keep giving it. Yes. Eventually, they
Native Americans can go to school for free. They still get benefits from the government. They continue to get benefits.
Well, I disagree with that. If that's true,
if it's true, it is true.
I disagree because that's not fair for the other people that are now American citizens, not just the ones that's been here.
It's about being fair, and
that's not being fair though. At some point, it's just a certain group of people just keep getting benefits. Had nothing to do with the Native Americans at that time that was being oppressed. They're just descendants. They didn't even ask to be here, but yet they're getting all these benefits.
Discussion around fairness is centered that these other groups are getting benefits, and we're the only group that isn't. So if we're going to make it fair, then make it so that every group, including ADOS, African descendants of slaves, get these same benefits. So that's the nexus of the discussion.
Fine with people getting benefits, it just has to be a cutoff at some point. But y'all acting like, it's indefinite. It's just right.
Let me be like that. Give you this analogy, right? So when we talk about the effect on people, we're not talking about that effect ending with those people that were directly transgressed. We're talking about the effect of the generations subsequently. So if we kill a father, then those children grow up without a father. Those grandchildren grow up without a grandfather. And you have, based off what we know about, let's just say manhood, fatherhood, or what have you, you have a certain economic potential that is lost due to the life being lost of that individual. So in part, the reparations pay, because we're not even talking about the aspect of the and I'll get to my point as why I feel like there should be a cash and not, well, let's just say an option of a cash out.
Go ahead.
Um, we're not even talking about the atrocities that we still deal with today as an effect of slavery. Uh, we mentioned the black codes. We mentioned Jim Crow. We could talk about redlining. We could talk about any systematic form
Just
of oppression
pure
as a result
propaganda
of,
against our people, you know?
you know what I'm saying? So, and then, okay, even more so than that, the larger aspect of all of this is it's an economic reform. So you have to talk about money, um, because you're trying to atone basically. And while life is priceless, you're trying to put a figure on life potentially could have produced, which is you can't put a figure on it. But to say that there is some math around it, and I think I've heard figures, shot Oscar, maybe y'all have heard. I've heard figures like 3 trillion or something to that effect, maybe even more, to just be paid out now. That's not to say, down the road and the lives of our children, the lives of our grandchildren. But in just saying that reparations be given out. See, because I think I look at the systems that are in place. There are going to be systems that siphon that money back. There's going to be systems that say, oh, well, these are the qualifications to get that. No, you don't qualify. You don't get it. Those things are going to take place under the current system that we live in because systems preserve itself. You can call it what you want, white supremacy, white fragility, whatever. So in determining or allowing the self-determination of us as a people, then part of that I think is giving us the choice of how do we want to be retributed for, I guess that's the right word. How do we want to be compensated for this experience that still affects us today? And
Well,
everybody ain't gonna build a community. Some people are just gonna be consumers, and you have to, and and an economy needs consumers, so you have to allow them to be that, and the economy grows from their spending. So yeah, some people are gonna want to live in Section 8 and get those payments and go and buy every new pair of Jordans that come out. The same way that when I think it was Jefferson, when he was president, he allotted the land through the what was it?
The Oklahoma land grab?
No, I'm talking about the Louisiana Purchase.
Okay, yeah.
Louisiana Purchase, yeah.
That land was initially allotted for agrarian families. So you didn't have to go to not necessarily a city, but let's just say a metropolitan area and work and develop this industrial revolution. You could just have your little land and work your plot of land and take care of your family. And I think that a great deal of our population, and I know a great deal of our population would enjoy that type of liberty because we see a resurgence in people growing not farms, but gardens in their backyard, and people, having this suspicion about what they're putting in food and all. And some people don't want to be a part of the system, and we have to give them choice in doing that.
Let me speak on it on something for you real quick. Okay, let me. So I think white folks or the European who was who was the who was the blame for the Native Americans, who was the blame for the American slave trade. Those people are dead and gone. Their descendants are living presently. I think that throughout the years, going from 1860 to now, which is about three generations later from an actual slave, is enough for those children of those white slave owners and the people that oppressed the Indians, the Native Americans. It's enough time for everybody to get right. The white folks have demonstrated that. They allowed benefits for Native Americans. Y'all already spoke on that. They allow benefits for Black folks. We are literally citizens who's afforded the same opportunities as anybody else, and you can see it throughout, our culture. I'm talking about American culture, and I think we need to keep going. Everybody's assimilated. I think we just need to keep going with eliminating all the stupid shit that's still going on, like crime, religion, and shit like that. But as far as trying to help the descendants of some people who was oppressed, like it's a gang of people who's been oppressed throughout the years. Phil, he know about history. Shaw know about history, and I'm pretty sure you know about history, Oscar. It's been a gang of oppression throughout the world, globally, and and of course,
but
okay, go.
Just real quick, I'll jump in real quick. There has been a gang of oppression, but the thing is, the way the government oppressed certain people, they came back and gave reparations to all those people. We were one of the biggest.
Not in every case. Not in every case. But all you gotta do is mention one, and that's all that matters. It'll fit your point.
Right.
But keep going.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Like we were the biggest group, and they actually set it up for us to get those reparations, and then they just pulled it back and then never revisited. Yeah, never revisited or nothing. And to make it a bigger slap in the face, like I don't know if Phil was on here when we was talking about that one, but they gave it to the people, the very people who did it, made those same people that were oppressing them grow even faster, because all the stuff that the slaves were supposed to get, they gave it to their owners. So it was a bigger slap in the face.
And that which they didn't, because if you look at Reconstruction, we did own a lot more land. We had more wealth then as a people than we even do now. We've actually lost wealth. Going from 1/2 of 1%. So, and you hear about the numerous stories, Louisiana in particular, Virginia, North Carolina, of these massacres where they systematically went around and killed all the farmers and landowners and had them migrating between the states to that land. And what's funny is I worked, I'll just say I worked a job, right? And a bunch of my coworkers were white guys about my age, maybe a little younger. And a majority, let's just say out of 10 guys, 7 of these guys had rural homesteads of hundreds of acres. When I tell you every weekend, what are you doing? Going home. Where's home? Midland, Texas. My family owns like 200 acres out there, and my uncle lives down one street. So you can't even go down this street without running into an uncle, a cousin, a grandma, an aunt. You don't really recognize. You don't even recognize how much land there is, the wealth that land generates, and the amount and the generations, which it hasn't been that long. People think 100 years is long. That's a lifetime. Maybe not so much now, but the income generating potential of that land and being passed down over, let's just say, these 3 generations, their grandma, their father, their mom, or them, it allows you, like Rashad alluded to, a great starting place as far as capital goes.
Hold on, Phil. Hold on. Let me say something. Okay, I disagree. First off, just let y'all know, I disagree with people even buying a lot of land. What I would consider, let's say, an acre is 4 lots. I think if you buy more than an acre, that's just too much. If you claiming to be a team player as a U.S. citizen. The reason how I know this, you crunch the numbers. For example, let's say a person, however they get this, let's say a person buy 100 acres, which is a hell of a lot of land. But if everybody have the ability to buy 100 acres, all the new generations, because populations increase throughout time globally. Okay, our population is around 300 and some plus million. Eventually, it's going to be 400 plus million. But if everybody owning 100 acre, one single individual owning 100 acres, how is that fair for a kid that's born, that happen to be born in, let's say, 2035, and he grew up and do all the right things, get a good job, he want to purchase land. Now land is expensive as hell because it ain't that much of it, and one individual owning so much of it. I think that's not helpful when it comes to being treating all members of society equally. So like I know
like
what
a
you were just
socialist.
saying, Phil, about how it's cool for a family to have so much land. That's not beneficial to other citizens. Everybody needs to have at some point an ideal amount of land. And given that land is constantly decreasing, because that's what happens when you subtract area from other area or whatever, it becomes more expensive because we live in a capitalist society. At least I'm speaking for America. And so
Hey guys,
how is that helping the new generations?
I gotta run, man. I gotta go pick up my daughter. So
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
But did y'all hear what I said, Oscar?
Yeah, I heard what you said. You
I
sound like a
heard.
socialist.
And Shaw?
I actually am a socialist to an extent, but
we gotta have some more
Said
conversation.
something that
yeah.
was socialist. I'm shocked you would have say that. But
I mean it is
Take
kind of.
all right, damn. Okay,
He had to go. He had to roll. So
okay. No. What did you hear? What I said? What I just said is what a socialist would say, Shaw.
one
Because
second.
at some point, land will be used up and it will be expensive, and it's not right for one person to be like, "Yeah, I own 2,000 acres." Really? You? What about the rest of Americans? So you can't glorify. Phil was actually glorifying how cool it is for family members to be passing land down and this and that. It won't happen in a practical reality. And if it do, it'll be bad for other citizens.
So I share your ideals about that, but the reality is we don't live in a socialist country. So
I know, capitalists.
like so if we're talking about how things should be allocated for a socialist country, I agree with you. But since we do live in a capitalist society, then I still have my stance that if people are going to be owning land, then we should be able to have the chance to own land. And because it was denied from our people for so long, then they need to have some type of way of at least allowing us to attempt to catch up. So.
Yeah, that's gonna be eventually. It's gonna be I'm trying to find the right word, but it's gonna be a dead end with that. Kind of like how stock markets crash. It's a reason why stock markets crash. It's a reason why a company will fail instead of prosper. And if you keep buying up land just because you can buy up land because that's your freedom or whatever it is, and yet more people are being born, more citizens are populating the country and planet, it's not gonna be good.
There's a shitload of land in America. Hey, we're gonna
I know it is
we're running up on 2 hours, Dave. We need to wrap this up. So go ahead and final thoughts on
That was mine.
Final thoughts on anything we talked about today, matter of fact.
I just really enjoyed the dialogue and everything. I think for this to be our first actual, I guess, official recording where we had more than just two people or whatever, I think it's a start. Let's get it going.
All right, Dave.
Yeah. Same what Oscar said.
All right, same here, man. I really appreciate y'all for doing this. We all grew up together. We all grew up separate but together, and we all have different opposing opinions. It's nice to be able to get together and share and see where we live what 2-3 streets apart from each other.
Yep.
And you can see all the divergence of how everybody thinks and stuff. But
when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we need to all meet up somewhere too.
Yeah. Facts.
Man, why
facts.
you point at the camera like
Facts.
that, man?
Facts. Hey, so if y'all like the content, y'all go ahead and like, share, subscribe. If you want to say something in the comments, if you don't agree with Dave, because everybody's not going to agree with. I'm joking. if you don't agree with us,
sure there's going to be a lot of white folks agreeing with me. I'm pretty
if you
sure.
don't agree with us,
not that that's a It's a white thing.
Yeah, say something in the comments if y'all got some topics y'all would like for us to talk about. Go ahead and say that. Our presentation is gonna get better as we grow, and I appreciate y'all coming by. This has been the Reflection Connection Podcast, episode 1.
Yes, sir.
Peace, guys.
Man, I got a cricket
Peace.
finger, man. I can't point good.
Peace.